Some breaking news came from Fabrizio Romano as he informed in his Twitter account that Elliot Anderson to Manchester City, here we go, 116 million pounds package, and Ben Jacobs revealed that it's 130 million pound package as Nottingham Forest representative has informed him, as I have understood. And you know what? Like, if you analyze the price tag, this is too much for the player who was playing for the relegation. Of course, Manchester City has the money to buy him because they are playing good football. They are in the Champions League almost every year. Like it's every year since Pep Guardiola came. They are winning a lot of titles, a lot of Premier League titles. And of course, they have a potential to make this kind of deals, but you know, it's overrated. It's overhyped and overrated player because in any world, Elliot Anderson would not cost 160 million or 130 million pounds package because he have not won golden ball. He is not some kind of extraordinary player, you know, like who makes extraordinary things. He's not Ronaldinho. He's not Ronaldo. He is not, I don't know, Messi, you know. He's just Elliot Anderson from Nottingham Forest, who was playing for relegation to not be relegated. And he cost 130 or 160 million pounds. Come on. First of all, I have to say that there was a first bid more than 100 million pounds that was rejected by Nottingham Forest, and now they just agreed the deal with Manchester City with a second attempt, let's say. And you know what? It's like I don't find the sense in that because before that, Manchester City's strategy in the before like in the other seasons, it was about making a good deals for themselves. They were organized. They were just buying the players, and they were walking away if, for example, some players like Maguire or Sanchez was about overpaying. But they are doing that. Anyway, I have to say about Manchester United, who was also interested in Elliot Anderson and couldn't buy him, and they are now focused on Mateus Fernandes, and their transfer window is not going well in the sense of after signing Ederson, it's not formal yet anyway. They are trying to sign Mateus Fernandes from West Ham United, but at the same time, Tottenham Hotspur are the rivals in this competition to sign the player, and the West Ham United, who ask more than 80 million pounds, are in the good position because Mateus Fernandes is saying that I can go either to Tottenham or Manchester United, so it's like up to West Ham because who gives more money, like in the sense of transfer fee, they gonna sell the player to that club. So Tottenham can pay more than Manchester United. Manchester United don't want to overpay, and in that sense, it's most likely that Tottenham gonna win this competition, in my opinion, because West Ham wants best possible price tag for Mateus Fernandes for themselves. Something crazy is happening, like some representative of the Manchester United spreads some rumors that they are not about overpaying, they are not about controlling because they were they are not about doing some stupid things because in the past, as they revealed, there were some bad transfers about overpaying. But I will tell you one thing: Manchester United transfers was not bad because of the transfer fees. For example, in the season when Paul Pogba came, it was not about Paul Pogba. It was about the players who came with Pogba in the season where Pogba came to the club, because it was about Eric Bailly, it was about Genrich Mkhitaryan. After that, it was about Victor Lindelof, it was about Fred, it was about that kind of players who are not good enough for this team. But Paul Pogba was, in his first seasons, good enough for playing for Manchester United. After that, he took some injuries and his game degraded in the last seasons of his contract. But in the first years when he came, Paul Pogba was exceptional. Just the players who surround him was not good enough. Eric Bailly, Phil Jones, and that squad with McGenrich, Mkhitaryan, and Juan Mata was not good enough for Manchester United to succeed. That's why they failed. I can mention Morgan Schneiderlin, who was like, let's say, in that time not too much expensive but not good enough. I could mention about Daily Blind. I could mention about Marcos Rojo, like Ivan Darmian, who played for Inter and played in the Champions League finals, but he was not good enough for the Premier League. Like there were a lot of players who were not good enough. Like I could mention Schweinsteiger. They were cheap in the sense of price tag, but they were not good enough in the sense of age. For example, Schweinsteiger came where his career almost finished, or I don't know. There were some players who were not good enough either. They are young or not. I mean, it was not about that. I mean, the press is telling to us and selling the idea that Manchester United made some mistakes in the sense of buying expensive players and they couldn't play. It was overpaid. That's why it was a mistake. That's why they couldn't play. That's why they were not good enough. Of course, in the sense of Anthony, I could mention that they overpaid. Like with Pogba, it was not about too much overpaying. Pogba in that time cost around 155 million euros. Maybe they slightly overpaid for around 20 million euros or something. His real price tag was about 80 million euros in that time. But for Anthony, it was about different situation. They had a chance to buy him in the beginning of transfer window about for 40 million euros maximum, but they haven't done it. And at the end of the transfer window, they tried to persuade Ajax, and Ajax said no, we just don't want to sell him at the end because we cannot find the replacement. So we need a crazy money to accept that bid. So Manchester United paid 100 million euros because Anthony in any life would cost that money. It was, yes, I could agree about that it was overpayment. Casemiro like was not overpaid because he was the player who cost that money, that 80 million pounds or something, because he was exceptional. He won Champions Leagues 4 times. He was exceptional. He was the heart of the Real Madrid team. But the problem was his age. He was 30. For that reason, it was decided that it was overpaid because he didn't have a long time potential. He was just a short-term solution. And in that sense, it was said that it's overpaid. But you can mention about Taylor Malaysia, for example, who cost a cheap 50 million euros, but couldn't succeed. You have to understand that sometimes cheap players doesn't cost that money they gonna spend. It's not about that. It's not about only price tag. It's about also the player good enough or not. So for me, Mateus Fernandes can be a player who can be good enough. He has a potential because he started to play in the highest level 1 or 2 seasons ago, and he's only 21 or something. He's so young. He can grow. He can be much more better in 2 seasons. He can start to give a lot of assists, shoot from the distance, and score a lot of goals. He can be some kind of Vitinha or João Neves for Manchester United. But let's see what's gonna happen. And it seems that Tottenham looks strong in that competition, in that battle. And most probably Tottenham board promised to De Zerbi to support him with that kind of transfers, and they're gonna do it. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.